Alright, so I have one bad move so far. Oh.
Got your objective. Anything standing your way. An agent needs assistance. Hostile protection removed. Detected.
What's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's hanging in there, being as safe as you guys need to be. So check it out. We all know that the master difficulty is coming around the corner here. So assuming the content is going to be similar to how Legendary was when it first came out, we got to figure out a build that's going to help keep it all together, keep the group alive. And luckily, we've had that build for over 4 years now. I know some mainstream streamers have actually brought this build to light recently within the last few months, but yeah, literally this build has been around forever. So I'm also working on the comprehensive definitive best healer build for 2025 year 6, specifically as a healer. That video will be coming out soon. However, I want to go through, I wanted to contrast it versus the old videos, as well as some of the changes they've made recently. There are some very specific changes that I need to mention in that. So that video should be coming soon. I just want to make sure it's thorough. On that note, I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit shorter than usual because I think most of you guys have either seen this type of build, you've seen this exact build in action, or you guys kind of understand how it will function. So it was the cheesiest build. We've now codenamed it even cheesier now that our hardwire feedback loop is significantly shorter. We're now down to a 5-second cooldown on our Seeker Mines. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get into this build and show you guys what's good. Do me a favor. If you guys find this interesting or informative, smashing that like button would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully by the end of this, I will have earned your guys subscriptions. Best thing you can do to help my channel is to share this video. And do me a favor, let me know what you guys want to see in the future, or if you have any comments on any way that you would run this different, leave those down below. All right, let's jump into the build itself. All right, guys, as far as the specialization, we used to use the Technician. However, we are giving up the Faraday Field and the Merv launcher in order to get the grenade launcher and to actually kick the damage of our mines that much more. The two things that matter about Demolitionist, which we are choosing now, is that we get the explosive ordnance, which will buff our explosive damage by 10%, as well as the brace for impact, which means once every 60 seconds we get to ignore an explosion. Demolitionist has some other cool buffs, but we're not worried about those so much. All right, let's get into the gear before we talk about the weapons. All right, guys, let's quickly go through the equipment. For the gear sets, we're going to be using hardwire. 2-piece will give us skill haste. 3-piece will give us skill damage and repair skills. 4-piece gets us the feedback loop, which will reduce the cooldown of our Seeker Mine and possibly, if we fuck up, our Stinger Hive, which isn't too big of a deal because the feedback loop cooldown is only 10 seconds. Since we're using the backpack, we get the short circuit talent. This will reduce it down to 5 seconds. This what makes it so we can effectively, in best case scenarios, put Seeker Mines out about every 6 seconds or so if we're dropping them right at our feet, which you guys should be able to see some gameplay of that. Now, in the chest position, we're going to use a China Light piece. This will get us 15% extra explosive damage. So this is added on with the explosive ordnance. So that's 25% explosive damage we're getting here. We're going to run repair skill and skill damage on the chest piece. Every other piece of gear, except for the gloves, we're going to run skill damage. For the mod slots, we're going to run 2 skill haste, and we're going to run 1 repair skill. The reason we're not running more skill haste is at this amount of skill haste, we're at 31.1 second cooldown on our Seeker Mines, and that's about perfect. So it means I could squeeze a little bit more healing out. Now, I could completely safeguard myself about making sure the mines are always out by running a 3rd skill haste. It's really not necessary. I like having the additional healing. The chest talent we're going to run is Empathic Resolve. Empathic Resolve is something that you get rewarded and your team gets rewarded for you healing them. It's going to be basically a 13% bonus for your team unless we overcharge, and it will be a bonus for us of 6% to our weapon and skill damage. And if we overcharge using our BTSU gloves, then that will buff the bonus up to the 15% for our teammates, 7% for us. And that leads us into the last slot, our exotic, the BTSU gloves, formerly known as Blow Thyself Up gloves. So these will net a skill haste and repair skill, and it gives us the transference overclock. This will effectively just about double the cooldown of our Restorer Hive's charges. So that's huge right there. And even more importantly, it gives us the ability to overcharge. Since we are at skill tier 6, this means it applies to the whole team. Our entire team, during those 15 seconds, yeah, it's not very long, but during that time, their skill tier, regardless, even if they're skill tier 0, they will be full overcharge for those 15 seconds. This can only be done once every 2 minutes. Well, technically every 2 minutes and 15 seconds. As soon as the overcharge time is done, then the 2-minute cooldown starts. All right, so that is it for the gear. Now let's talk about weapons. So the primary weapon, of course, I'm going to be using is going to be the capacitor. It could be argued that you could use the Strega for this. I find it's easier to keep my damage up and more consistent using the capacitor. If I find myself in a group where everybody else is using the Strega also, then I very well may go with that. But at the same time, then it means it'll probably just amplify the damage my capacitor is already adding. So I think the capacitor is the top choice here. Go for damage to targets out of cover, so you get the combination of damage to armor and damage to targets out of cover. Both of those affect the Seeker Mine damage. For the offhand, I just go with a backup boomstick with Future Perfect. There's plenty of different things that you could go for here. That's if I'm not in normal gameplay. Most of the time, actually, I will run with an M9 with In Sync because the Pistolero directive is a great way to get experience, and so this means I can actually proc In Sync with my pistol since I won't have the other ammo. Anyway, I'm not worried too much about that because we're talking about group play right now. We're talking about master level stuff. The secondary position is really where we got to make a decision. Now, I'm running with the designated hitter because I got the capacitor to buff my skill damage and do solid weapon damage. Designated hitter can get me on a headshot 80% repair skill. So they doubled Reformation, and Perfect Reformation's about. Reformation instead of 30 is now 60%. Perfect Reformation instead of 40 is now 80%. So that's a big bonus to the healing, and it's one way I can kick the healing up for any reason when we're in master difficulty. If we suddenly need it, that will be there. Another thing you could do would be something to run like the Harmony now that the rifles are full auto. That way you could run a rifle full auto that can proc Perfect In Sync. That's an instant 40% damage bonus to your skills and your weapons. And also the Harmony does take the Link Laser Pointer, so if you do decide to run the Technician for any reason instead of Demolitionist, you can pulse targets simply by aiming at them. There's a few other weapons you can use, but those are the two that I recommend in that secondary slot. Now to quickly just talk about the skills. We of course are going to be using the Restorer Hive. So our Restorer Hive is going to have under a 1 second cooldown due to the fact we're running the BTSU gloves with the Transference Overclock perk. We're going to have 36 charges on the Hive. It has a radius of just under 13 meters, and we're going to be healing well over 260,000 per charge. This will probably kick up well over 270,000 per charge with the Perfect Reformation procced. So if the Restorer Hive is our meat, then our Cluster Seeker Mines is all of our potatoes. So in this iteration, we are putting out 10 mines. We have a cooldown of 31.1 seconds, which means we have an effective cooldown of 6.1 seconds tops is our cooldown, so that's great. Base damage is 3.1 million. Do keep in mind that it's, you know, just above 550,000 in PvP. So if you use this build in the Dark Zone or in any of the PvP activities, unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to kill somebody. So I would recommend using the Explosive Mine in those sort of activities. But these cluster mines also have a 2-meter radius. And while only one mine can track any one particular target, remember, if enemies group up or sometimes they'll try to dodge the mines towards each other, you can get multiple hits. 2, 3, even 4 mines exploding on a group of enemies. So you can see that damage ramp up really quick. And this is overall the safest build that I could see going into Master Difficulty if we still want to put out not only decent damage, but good damage. No matter what, every group that I go into using this, even if everybody's solid DPS, we still get our damage in. And we get to keep the team alive. And those guys do more damage because we're buffing them with the Empathic Resolve. Anyway, I'm trying to keep it short here, so hopefully you guys dug this video. Hopefully it was informative. It's real easy to gear up. The only hard part about it is finding a China Light chest piece that has the right rolls and stuff, but you know, just a little bit of farming and you should be able to get what you're looking for. All right, guys, hope you dug this. I'm going to let a little bit more gameplay roll out here. Do me a favor, if you dig this, smash that like button would be greatly appreciated. If you guys are interested in checking out that Ultimate Healer I have coming out, make sure you guys are subscribed. Y'all be as safe as you need to be out there. We'll check you in the Dark Zone. Peace out, everybody. There we go. Come on. There we go. Oh my god, dude. That was such a game of cat and mouse right there. Holy shit. Oh. Oh my god, that's such a tiny amount of XP. Oh, he didn't even fucking put on... That's right, because I had modifiers on my game. Oh, a bighorn. Let's see. If it's not fucking amazing, I'll give it to somebody. We were just in there for a tiny little portion of it, but look at that. Alright, so we actually have some accolades. It's not bad.